Hello, beautiful people. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. It's a very exciting day today because we have a panel discussion with such a juicy topic: acceptance, relationship with self, and change. And we all go through so many things. We struggle so many times. Sometimes we pick ourselves up, we drop down again, we pick ourselves up back, but we can't give up. We got to continue going because we all came here and we came with a purpose and we came here with a gift to serve humanity. And we just need to go within ourselves and find that light and shine that light so we can help others. Today, I just want to welcome the panel here. We have Tom Thompson, no stranger. We have Joan Williams. We have Steve Butcher. And we have Soham and Christine Cavalier. What a beautiful panel. And we're gonna really bring this these topics on a real deep level so you could understand. Grab your pad, grab your pen, grab a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, and just sit, relax, and just write these tools down so you could help yourself to move forward from the stuck position that you're in, and you could move to a higher level and to your highest self so you could understand exactly what's happening within you. And my question to you today is, what are two goals you want to achieve in the next 6 to 12 months? What are two goals you want to achieve in the next 6 to 12 months? You need to ask yourself that question. And many of us are walking around each day in a mental prison. We are walking around each day and we don't know the sense of direction. We don't know where we are going. And that is why we as coaches, we are here to help. That we could help you to go deeper because we could ask you the right questions to help you to dive very deep, and to bring those goals, bring those dreams, bring those aspirations right up to the surface so you could get to move forward with your life in the right direction. So I will now hand you over to Miss Joan Williams.
Hi, thank you. Welcome everyone. Today is it's really a great day and a special day. It's Friday and we're looking forward for the new week, upcoming week. And also the whole topic with acceptance, relationship, change. It's truly amazing because it gives us to look at ourselves inward, see where we are and how we can make that connection. As at the bottom of the flyer we talk about looking forward to 23. Yes, we are in 22, but we're looking forward to 23, and the time to do it is now because then we can set the tools, we can set the roadmap. So when we bounce into 23, we have most of the answers for ourselves, and that is why we have a panel discussion today, because the guests and the members here got so many gifts. They can draw what we have within us out, help us to create that connection within ourselves and set that tone so we can help ourselves. And that the most important thing that we can, at the end of the day, is living our true, our best essential self so we can walk in our power. Isn't that amazing when you can walk in your power? When you can walk in your power, you feel empowered, you live your best, you're helping others, you're bringing others along with you, you're picking those falling down up. That is magic. So today, we're going to try to set that tone for you and help you and give you some guidelines how you can walk in your power. Christine?
Good morning, everyone. How are we feeling today? Yeah, I would love to share the message that you have to live in purpose with your true north today. not someday. Someday needs to be eliminated from your speaking, your thinking, because you can someday your life away. Today is the day you start with purpose. And even if it's the smallest iteration of purpose, if you're not sure where you're going, this is a great place to start. Confusion is the best place to start because you have no place other than going up from there. Next, somebody talk.
Go ahead.
Okay. I want to take from what Christine said is, today is the day we need to start. So go within yourself. What do I, as the title of today's talk says, accepting. So I think fundamental thing for me has been is accepting myself for who I am. There has been, and I'm not saying I've always been this way. There has been many years when I was young, I didn't accept myself because I was looking at myself from other people's perspective. How am I in people's eyes? So when I was focusing from outside in, I actually didn't love myself. I continuously criticized myself. I didn't love myself. I continuously said, you're not this, you're not that, So all these limiting beliefs about myself was created. Then when I started from within, as what Christine said, when I started looking within and start looking at what actually Soham is about, who is Soham? And what is okay. These are the things I'm looking at from other people's perspective. Let me look at myself from my perspective. What qualities do I hold? And who am I? First question I asked myself, who am I? Am I this body? Am I this mind? Or am I a spirit that resides within this body that actually communicates with people around me? So those kind of questions I actually started asking myself. So, I do journal and I do on and off journaling from very young age. So when things are happening in my life, I actually write down, these are the things happening, what's going on. Sometimes I get the answer, sometimes I don't. But because I put my thoughts in paper, what's that's done is I've asked the universe to come and give me the answers, and in different formats the answers do come. So the more I become self-aware of myself and how I am in tune with the universal energy, the more I'm in tune with people around me. So thank you. I'm going to pass the buck on to Stephen.
Yes.
Well, thank you for that. What everyone is sharing is so important because we're talking about going through this change, and there's just a lot of noise out there. There's a lot of noise, in our minds, in our emotions. There's a lot of noise externally, and most people are looking for this answer outside. But the thing that I found, the truth that I found, is what you are missing, what you are looking for out in the world doesn't exist. It's for you to create. If you're looking for love, you need to create love within. If you're looking for knowledge, you need to create that knowledge within. Everything that you're looking for doesn't exist until you create it. And when we create that, when we make this connection, we actually heal the world. We make the world a better place. And everyone here, all the people watching, the things that we model, the people that are, great leaders, they've been out there and they stepped into something that was new. And now everyone models them. They learn their techniques. They learn what they do. You can do that too. It's stepping into your authenticity. It's stepping into your truth. It's becoming intentional with the way that you think. It's becoming intentional with all of the things that are about you. And it ties into what we're talking about here as far as just trusting yourself, trusting what it is that you know to be true, and trying to no longer live for other people's dreams or the expectations that they have for you, but finding out what is it that you want out of this life. What do you want to create? What do you want to make? What Karen and Joan have started here, and then everyone else that's in this group has they've stepped into a purpose. They're sharing something that's passionate, and we can all do that. So the idea is find your thing, right? Find the idea that you want to talk about. So we've all met through the Global Summit events that I started doing, and it's funny. I started it because I was a little afraid, right? So the first summit that I did, it was on stress and anxiety. I do hypnotherapy as a method to help people change their thoughts, and I wasn't getting the people connecting with me, and I thought, oh, well, I need to change my message on the website. So I found out that anxiety and fear is like one of the number one things that people have found help for with hypnotherapy and anxiety. So we did this summit, but I was afraid of doing my 5-week workshop in 5 days on National Anxiety and Depression Awareness Week. So I hid out between other people. I invited other people to do presentations, to other people to come along. And what I realized is that you can transform fear into something really special if you just step into it, right? If you do it intentionally. That's why roller coasters exist. That's why people jump out of airplanes. That's why you can do anything in this world, but do it on your terms. Don't let it control you. So everyone that is here, thank you for being here, and thank you for stepping into the arena.
Tom?
Wow. I was making that face because Christine just wrote an article about having COVID and how the fear was transformed into love. She just wrote an article yesterday. That's where I was going. Oh, nothing's connected here. Oh no. I come from a background of alcoholism addiction, virtually my teenage and adult life. And I've been, in recovery. So I'm informed by recovery, 12-step recovery programs. And acceptance is a major, major part of those. Learn to accept and living in the now and living in today. And here I am trying to help people work with it. And it's probably my greatest problem is living in the nowness, living in the now, experiencing the now. And I also find so many of us and so many of my friends, in our community, I see as self-sabotaging. Even though we have these goals and aspirations, we self-sabotage. I see, oh, I want a loving relationship. And then they choose another poisonous one. Oh, I want to stop doing this. Yeah, the first time we go back to using whatever substance, whether it's food or relationships, or we sabotage the relationship we're in. And I spent so many years doing that. And when I stopped, I'm like, oh my God, look at what I have. And I think that's what happens when we don't live in the now. We don't see the joy and the love that's available to us at every moment. Boy, did I just get something running through me with that one. But I'm 71 years old. I spent the vast part of my life in self-created misery, and it doesn't have to be that way. Thank you for having me. I have no idea why I'm on here with this panel, but thank you for having me.
Tom, you're here for a purpose. And you're here this morning on this panel to share a message. The universe know that you have a message for someone out there. That is why they're giving you this opportunity to bring the message along to somebody who really needs to hear this message. Yeah. Because many times we don't live in the present. There's so many things go through our head every minute, so many thoughts flow through our head every minute of the day, and to slow it down is difficult for a lot of us. To slow down those thoughts, it's so difficult for us to do it. Because many of us don't know the know-how. And because we don't know the know-how, that is why things escalate. And then your whole life becomes chaos. Many people go to work each day and they're not present. Just the physical body is there, but the mental state is not there. And because of that, you can't function. There is no function happening there at all. because it's just the physical sitting there at a desk or in a cubicle, but the mental, so many things are running through the mental, so many things. They may have problem at home, they may have problem with the car, they may have a relationship problem with the mother or the sister or brother or something. And that tends to weigh us down. It tends to weigh us down and makes life so difficult for us. But all hope is not lost, because that is why they have coaches, they have therapists that you could go to. We give you a safe space that you could express yourself and be yourself. So if anyone is listening, whatever you may be going through at this point in time, know that you're not alone. We are here to help you. And that is why we created this space whereby we could bring people on to this show, and that we could be able to give you the tools to put in your toolkit to move forward from a stuck position. Because many times we think we are alone. There is no one that's going to help us. I wonder when I'm going to get out of this situation. You could get out, but you have to make that conscious choice that you want to get out from that stuck loop position you're in. Nobody can help you but yourself. And that's the problem with many of us. We don't want to go to get the help we need. We think we could do it on our own. Some people can do it on their own, but some can't. So we need to reach out for help when it's necessary for us to get our help. We need to reach out together. Christine?
You've hit so many points. Everyone in this panel has really hit the highest notes. You're part of a symphony. And one of the things that came to me as we were talking about it, Jack Canfield, who was one of my original trainers years and years and years ago, used to say, are you part of the people who are going to make a difference, or are you part of the Ain't It Awful Club?
Yeah.
And the Ain't It Awful Club are the people who stand around the water cooler or go to the bar or complain about their coworkers or their friends or their spouses. The day you stop doing that is the day you start moving forward. And if you need help, there is no shame in reaching out to get help. That is the first thing I learned when I went to school for my degree. They told me getting help is the strongest thing you could ever do for yourself. It creates a foundation to allow you to move forward in life. Then you can start looking at the places that you need to shore up your soul. So by all means, the more we put ourselves in a place to shore up our soul, to have a coach give you spackle and, plaster Paris and, create the house, the foundation is where you start. You can build on a stronger foundation. You can get a stronger house that will survive the winds of the change that happen. Outside is never going to be different. There will always be crazy personalities. There will always be people who make demands on you. It's when you find your true north purpose and you create the ability to say, no, I am doing this for me, you start to see a brand new life. That's really one of the things that us as coaches will help you create,
Yes.
is the ability to see yourself with a true mirror.
Yes.
Steve?
Steve.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I had pulled up and I was running the loop in the background. I was trying to share it because it's such a great conversation that it's important. It's important to get it out there to the other people. So I got lost in the double display land that comes up sometimes, and I didn't want to have that feedback. So I had focused on that. So it's interesting because when we're in that place of change, right? It seems dark. I can remember when I hit my 50th birthday. It was a milestone for me. I thought, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? It's my 50th birthday. Where am I at in life? I really haven't been super successful in everything that was there. And so I remember walking out, and I was doing this big project out in the backyard, and I wasn't being appreciated for it. It was a lot of work, a lot of effort, and I was miserable. I was so resentful. I was so miserable. I did not feel good about my life. I didn't like what was going on. And I'm on the spectrum of highly sensitive people. There's many like this, but what this means is 20% of the population, we feel things more deeply. We actually have a physical response to the emotional chemistry that runs through our body. And what the benefit of this is, when you feel it, when you're feeling this this chemistry, you know when to change, right? You don't like the way it feels. So I'm out there. I didn't like the way it felt, and I had to make this shift. So I started shifting to, I'm not going to do this for the person. I'm going to make it an offering to God. I'm going to connect with my backyard. I'm going to do my best work without regard to anybody else. And so what it did is it allowed me to shift from this place of resentment, of all of these turmoil, this thoughts of not being appreciated, not having things going right, the lack of quality of my work, to actually getting into that flow state, to connecting with a positive feeling, a positive space. And what was strange is I walk inside and I walk right into chaos. I walk right into an argument. And I had to make a choice to go back to that flow state. And that's what I wanted to just share is, you don't have to know what will make you happy. I didn't know what would make me happy, right? I didn't know why I was not happy. But the thing that I noticed is you can start making a choice of feeling a little bit better. Gratitude. If you're looking for one tip today, try to find something to be grateful for. Just one thing, and focus on that. Whatever you focus on will expand. And I can tell you, within 30 days, life started to shift. Within 2 years, within 30 days, I started changing my chemistry. So I started changing the natural feelings of how I was feeling. Within 2 years, my entire life changed. And you can get to a place where you are living the life that you want. So I think it's really positive, and that's what I would recommend. Anybody that's struggling out there, just focus on gratitude. And I think that you will start making a difference. And don't expect it the day after. We have to train our bodies. It's like going to the gym. We have to start training our chemistry. Give it a little bit of time. Be consistent. If you mess up, it's okay. Be easy on yourself. But focus on something better, a little bit better every day, and things will start changing for you, I promise.
Beautiful. Can I take from that?
Yes.
Because it's actually triggered loads of things in me to actually share with everybody here. Is like what Steve said, having a gratitude journal, and it's not actually things will not start changing instantly, but what changes is consistency. If you do something consistently, your mind, because what you're doing is you're actually building your mind muscles. And I've been meditating for over 38 years, but I still trip. It's not that I don't trip. I still trip. But because I have the strength of what I do, because I am consistent in my routine, my daily practices, what it does, I actually fall on actually a nice Dunlop mattress, basically, when I do fall. And then I'm able to just get myself up and say, okay, so you didn't do it right there. Where is what happened? So the awareness is there. So I think gratitude journal are really, really, really helpful things. Also I want to add, what really helped me as well in my journey is in 2005. In 2003, I had attended Tony Robbins' Unleash the Power Within, and that made a big impact in my life. So whatever I heard in that 4-day seminar, I actually put it in practice. I was pretty young at that time, so I actually did, and I came home and I made a scrapbook. And in the scrapbook, I put, about my seven life areas, I made a visual scrapbook, and then I looked at it few, and I put also affirmations in there, left it there, and 20, 15, 16, 17 years on, when I look at it now, there's so many things in my scrapbook, in my vision board that I put it in 2005, I have actually achieved. So I've actually told my subconscious mind, that this is what I wanted. I didn't every day looked at that scrapbook, but I can see how I've achieved. So it's not that because I walked on this path, every day is a hunky dory. No, I have to make the effort every single day. I have to, say to myself, no, this is it. I went, and I want to share this with everybody here. I went through a burnout because I worked in a corporate environment. And then when I left that, when I was in the corporate, I created a gut, and, the gut problem, which, because emotionally I wasn't dealing with the issue which were going on, what that did, it created a problem in my gut. And my gut was telling me I need to make some decisions. I wasn't ready to make those decisions. So until I wasn't ready to make that decision to take an action towards, my health, my mental well and health well-being, right? My body kept telling me, it kept signaling me and saying, you need to do something, Soham. What are you doing? And when I made that decision to say, you know what, this was enough, I need to get out of here. As soon as I made that decision, guess what? Change happened. The problems, the health, the gut problem I had actually eliminated very quickly. And with that, I took action, and I became a qualified coach. But like what Christine was saying, that I didn't just do it. I actually took a help of a coach, because you see what, friends and family, this is where I find sometimes people think, do I go to coach? Do I not go to coach? But the friends and family are not qualified in the field of life coach or CBT. So they will only give you an answer according to what they have experienced in life. Whereas when you go to a coach, they're not giving you advice, they are listening to you. They're paraphrasing what you are saying. The answer is within ourselves, and they may give you some guidance, but it's not them, it's you who are helping yourself. But you have a qualified person actually being there for you, listening to you, supporting you, because we are all human beings. And to be honest, I've worked with so many people, everybody goes through same thing. We think we are alone, but you are not alone. We all have same problems, and so I think when you go to a life coach, life coach helps you see, sees how you saying things. So what they do, they bring up the mirror in front of you and say, this is what you're saying to me. Do you realize? Because I think sometimes we don't even realize what we are saying, So when a coach helps you actually get to know yourself better, So I think I took, I do take coaching with many people, and I took the action towards my mental health and well-being. Because coach, you will spend an hour, 2 hours with a coach, but the other 22 hours you are spending with yourself. So you have to take action towards your mental health and well-being. Nobody else will be there. So I think for me, consistency is most important for me. Like I eat every morning when I wake up, we brush our teeth, we go to toilet, we have a shower, we give ourselves food, which is for this body, yeah. But what do we give our mental well-being? For me, if I need to connect with the higher source, the universal energy, God, whatever you can call that energy is, yeah. And I sit with myself, connecting with the higher source, and actually energizing my being. When I energize this, this being that energizes this body as well, So I think we forget that we actually take care of this body, or sometimes don't take care, and we feed or sometimes wrong food that gives us problems. But we need to become aware of everything around us, you know so that's something I wanted to share with everybody, that I think when we become self-aware, we become self-aware what's going around with us, with other people who's around, because if we are going through something, they're also similarly going through as well. So thank you. I'm going to pass it on to Tom.
Thank you. Man, I was like the bobbing dog in the back window of an old Ford Chevy when you guys were talking. Oh, by the way, Christine Vilmore Cavallero, she used to work in a professional basis with Tony Robbins and some
I
other.
was just on I was actually listening to him yesterday. He was doing a program with Dean Graziosi.
That's right.
I spent the last 3 days just taking copious notes and feeling back into the passion he puts out. And it was like having a drink of cool water in a hot desert. And I forgot how much passion he exudes. So it's so funny timing wise.
Isn't it? And then they mentioned that. You just told me about that yesterday. And I know you work with a group that actually did work with him and collaborate
Yep.
with him some years ago.
Yep. Stephen
One
Covey
thing-
and Tony Robbins. So yeah, that's my background in coaching. That was actually my foray into coaching, was listening and learning from those experts and those giants.
Yes.
The one thing Steve touched on, something that is still running through me, and that is on the sensitivity. So many of us are, a lot of people call it empath, but that's gotten to be a term where people use it as a victim state. Oh, I'm an empath and everybody else is a narcissist. Stuff bullshit. Either this is a gift, sometimes it comes from a little bit of a chaotic childhood with something, or maybe we chose as souls to come in here with this.
Yes.
Whatever. I'm not going to talk. That's not important whether it's nature, nurture, but that is a fact with me. And what I did is, as a child, due to the chaos I was raised in, I chose to avoid feeling any way I could, and I ran from it. And there are so many addicts and alcoholics. I meet so many, and you talk to the families. I sponsor this great guy who's doing wonderful. Spent most of his adult life in prison, and something happened to him when he was like 12 years old. And and if you talk to them, the families, these are such sensitive children, and they end up being addicts because they don't want to feel. We don't want to feel, and I spent most of my life running from feelings and running from reality. And I am not alone in that. So, and each of us, I think, finds a way to try to isolate ourselves. And I'm visualizing putting up barriers around ourselves, whether they're effective or not. And what almost always I have found that is not only counterproductive, it's destructive. When we do those things, we create greater wounds. And it was just like what Soham and everybody was talking about here. Deal with it now, live in it now, experience and feel this now. My fear was it would stay with me forever. And that's just not true. That's a lie that I told myself. Sorry, I got to carry on.
John?
Yeah,
John?
this is such a great discussion because it is so much of meat and so much of value here. Steve, Soham, and Karen, and Christine, Tom. It is so good. I want to go back to Steve, what he said about gratitude, because it is so important. And it's very, very powerful. Talking to Soham, she talked about mind, body, and spirit. That is so important with what we feed our mind, what we feed our soul. What are we listening? What are we listening to that can help us move forward? What are we feeding ourselves with? That is so important because then what we listen to, we can able to set an intention that we can move forward and step into that power that we were speaking about earlier. And what are we doing to help someone else? What is our service? Whether it's helping others, those are so much important. And journaling, where we can write out in such a beautiful way. I love you talking about scrapbooking. It's so powerful that you placed the scrapbook a few years ago. And when you look back a few years after, what you have found and what has materialized for you. So this entire discussion is so powerful because it can help you view yourself be forward. So when we look at where we are now, do we like where we are now? How can we improve ourselves? How can we set a tone? How can we reach our goals? And what are we doing? And today is the day where we make that first step for our we coach out of, and our secondary food is what is on what we eat. Our primary food is our lives, what we do, our love, relationships, joy, happiness, our spirituality. What are we practicing that can contribute to our lives so that we can live a fulfilled life, living our best self every day? When we wake up in the morning, it's such a joy. And people can feel that because there is such a power and magnetism in that people can feel that. Why are you so happy? That sometimes people say to Karen and I both, you guys are always happy, laughing, But it's what we fill ourselves up, starting our morning, grounding, keeping with our meditation. And once you put the great food in yourself, you're strong enough that whatever the day you encompasses through the day, you're solid, that you don't get flipped out. You ground, you're solid. So you can able to share that with others. And that's very powerful because sometimes you go into an environment and the energy is so low. But coming in with heavy vibration, good frequency moving, you can really change the atmosphere. And I'm sure everybody can relate to that. And by the time you leave the atmosphere, you left it not the way it was, but you make it better because of what you brought to that space. So today we can try to continue doing our meditation and our grounding and just feeding ourselves with good food so we can change the world one at a time with great element. Karen?
Yes. You know, we many times we get so bent out of shape. But I like to use the word rubbish. We get bent out of shape with rubbish every single day, and we tend to focus on things that don't serve our higher good. Because once you keep yourself in that low frequency, you're going to continue to attract the things within that frequency. So you've got to make that conscious choice to raise your frequency. So when you raise your frequency, you would attract the good things and surround yourself with a tribe who will help to motivate you, help to impact your life, and help you to be a better person. But if every day you keep going back to that place, oh, I'm not good enough, and somebody call you to tell you rubbish, and you're filling your mind up with the rubbish they come to you with, and gossiping and doing all those things what do you think is going to happen to you? Your day will never be accomplished with anything. So you have got to make that conscious choice. Today, I'm going to be better than yesterday. I am going to wake up today. I'm going to read a book that is going to motivate me. Today, I'm going to choose not to listen to things that is going to lower my vibrations. Today, I'm going to work on me to make me better to serve humanity. So once you get up each day and you start to tell yourself these things, after a while, you're going to start shifting your conscious mind into that space. Because every day, whatever you do, that is what you will be.
So true.
Because if every day you decide that, oh, I'll do that tomorrow, you waste the day. Suppose if tomorrow never comes, you know, you waste the whole day. So we have to make that choice for ourselves. Nobody can make that choice. We have to make that choice for ourselves to move forward our life. I know it's difficult, but we all who is sitting here and speaking to you today, we went through something. And because of that, we make that conscious choice to get help, to better ourselves, so we could sit here and speak to you today. It's not easy. Each one of us journey, it wasn't easy. It was a struggle. But because of the struggle, we took those ashes and we beautified our world. Right? So we have to use the struggle as a tool to thrive. So don't sit there and tell yourself, you know what? Oh my goodness, I'm struggling. How am I going to get out from this? You know, when those thoughts start to come to you, get your journal and start journaling.
Beautiful.
When you start to feel those thoughts, start to write them down. And after you finish writing those thoughts down, look back at it and see if you could answer and correct those thoughts. Because many times when we do that, then is when we get the answers. Because when you look, the visual is always better. When you look at it, what you're thinking, and you're looking what you're thinking, you will say to yourself, wait, this is not me, you know? And then the conscious awareness comes up now. You know what? I've got to change this thought and replace it with something else. So that is how we could help ourselves. And as Soham and Christine and Steve and Joan and Tom, reach out to a coach. Because we cannot stress this enough, that you could understand that there is help. Don't just sit there wasting your life every day and keep going over these negative things every single day. Reach out. You could get help. We are here to help. Reach out. Invest in yourself. That is so important. Invest. Make that conscious choice to invest in yourself. Because if you invest in yourself today, you could be a better tomorrow. And you could be better to help someone else who is waiting out there to be helped. So that is what we have to do. We have to invest in ourselves, educate yourself. Education is so important. Pick up a book and read that is going to motivate you, that's going to educate you. There are books that are free on YouTube. Just tune in, just listen to a good book. There are things out there that could help us. But many of us don't want to read. We become very frustrated. You know, we don't want to pick up a book and read. We don't want to listen to a good book, you know, and those are the things that could help us. So we got to start doing that investment in ourselves. Christine?
You've hit so many notes within the symphony that we're trying to write today.
Yeah.
There is so much opportunity. I mean, free things are available to everyone. You can go to YouTube, you can go to your local library.
Yeah.
It's not through lack of information. I think it's just lack of direction that people are feeling overwhelmed and confused in right now. For myself, I started like Tom had alluded to with Tony Robbins, I worked with a gentleman who wrote a book called Working Without a Net that Newt Gingrich had basically said was one of the top 10 reading, I think, in 1995. So that just shows you how long I've been doing this particular activity. And he said, you have to go to Stephen Covey's training for 7 Habits. And I said, oh, okay, if you're paying, I'm going. I had nothing in my life at that point that stopped me. As of a month ago, I pulled out all my old trainer information for 7 Habits and looked at where I was at that point in my life. And I have changed dramatically. But as Sonia had pointed out, there were things that I had as a plan years ago that have come to fruition. My subconscious was just an open field, and the seeds that were planted at that time became trees for my shade, trees for my oxygen. It was a beautiful thing, but it took me recently to pull out my information. I went back and relearned how to journal. I created a journal that is slightly different than other people's journaling. Instead of saying, oh, today I did X, Y, Z, I broke it down into 7 specific things that I was looking for, because I was creating journals all over the place. I was like, oh, this is my business journal. This is my book journal. This is my this journal, that journal. I put it all into one that's a 6-month journal. And I write down, I call it my big adventure journal. It's a 6-month big adventure. Where have I been? How am I improving myself every single day? This is a tool that was taught to me by a different person. I take all these pieces and create what makes sense for me. Where I help others is I say, hey, have you read, I talked to Joan about this. I talked to Karen about this. Let's create a book club where we focus on a book for a month and talk about how it can spiritually improve us, how it can improve our health, our wellness, our mental ability, even career-wise, and just do that. And it's been knocking around in the back of my head. And I think because it's there, it's a mission that I've been given by the universe to make that available to others. That's something that somebody could do. But it's all about what is your purpose, your passion, and your mission. And really looking at the end of the day, how are you feeding your mind? You happened to say it before. If you are feeding your mind garbage with fear and television, and you are doing everything in crisis mode, or you are putting all your stuff, you're going between quadrant 1 of crisis and urgent and everything crazy, you're not putting any time into your quadrant 2. And that's right out of Covey. What are you doing? What are you planning for your future? If your quadrant 2 is empty, this is how you fulfill your future. Start looking at what you can fill in quadrant 2. And it's not important, but it's not urgent, but it is important for you to do. So spend your time in quadrant 2. And that will start to improve your life dramatically. Stephen said the other thing, start being grateful. You know what? Your mess can be your message. That is such a huge thing. Dean Graziosi, that's his favorite thing. You can take your mess and make it your message. You can help somebody because somebody needs to hear that you got through the fire. At the end of the day, you were put on this earth and given some challenges. Everybody here has them. But at the end of the day, at the end of the life that you were given, how are people going to remember you? That is going to be really important. Look at how your family looks at you. And if you're not living in integrity of who you truly want to be, then make improvements, make adjustments, live your life, feed your, like literally take your mess and make it your message. You can get through this. It is not hard, but it does require work.
Someone is asking a question. How do we help those who are illiterate?
You can hear.
Yes.
YouTube. YouTube is the best. I mean, literally,
Yes.
YouTube is a library. If you can't read, you can hear. If you can't hear, then somebody else can help you. That's really what it comes down to.
Mhm.
Yes. Yes. And as this message says, you don't have to spend lots of money. There, as you say, YouTube has so much information, so much things. And I have so much experience. I go to YouTube because I want certain things. I still go to YouTube for that information. The audiobook, I love listening to audiobook. While I'm cooking, you listen to my audiobook.
Yes.
While I'm, so I multitask. So I can actually, so my mind does not wander somewhere else.
True.
My mind, Karen, what you said is, what kind of people do I want to be around?
Absolutely.
So that's what I say. So when I'm on my own, I love my own company, but I also love company of the people I listen to. Because
Sure.
what's happening when we are listening to somebody else, we are having a dialogue with that author who's reading to us, that person who's talking to us. So we are actually energetically actually connecting with that person, aren't we? So I'm so conscious what kind of people I want to be around. Basically I want to be around people who will actually take me to the next stage. I don't want to be around people who are gossiping, who are talking negative, because I try my best to bring them up, but often, if you are surrounded by 10 negative people, and you're only one positive, there, you can make a difference. But I don't, in my experience, I haven't made like tremendous difference because the negativity is too high, basically. So I actually choose, and I want to be with people who's going to elevate me as a person and me supporting their mental well-being as well. So I choose that very, very consciously now. So I don't, even people, you don't have to spend thousands of pounds to actually upgrade your own knowledge. There's lots of things around. You just have to open of your vision to find those places. And of course, once again, there are coaches here. When you do make that investment, you will get to somewhere else. All 6 people who are here, we've actually also invested lots of money into things for where we are at the moment, and it actually makes us happy because we spend that money on
Yes.
not buying a clothes or buying a fancy bag, which is only making me happy in very short moment in time. But the money that we've invested in our own personal development has made us what we are just now, and we're still aspiring to become
Yeah.
a version of ourselves, because when we leave this world, when we leave this earth, we want to leave a legacy that not just people remembering us for that legacy, but what we've actually also taught them. So the lessons that they have learned from us, that's made impact in their life. That's what I want to see, that what impact I have made in their life, and that's made them better version of themselves. So I'm not just looking at myself, but I'm looking at other people. How are they learning from watching me being who I am, basically.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Steve?
So there's a little bit of commotion in the background, and this is life, right? We have the things that come up every day, and one of the things that came to me while we were talking, I really love what you said, Karen, about the choice, the choosing the intention. What Joan shared about, connecting. All of it's about being authentic. What Christine shared about, having a framework, all of these different things. What comes to me is that what's most important, and actually I'm drawing this from a friend. I did a podcast with her. Her name is Sasha Morozov. She's an adorable young lady. She has a Facebook group called Sasha X Home. But she asked the question at the beginning of the podcast. It's like, what if you don't change? What if you don't do anything different today? What if you don't change next week? What if you don't change anything next month? What will your life be like? And that's the question. What do you want your life to be? Are you happy with where it's at? And I think if we really tap into that question, it'll move off, any fear of what you may lose or anything else. What we're talking about here is, what do you want? You don't need any of us. You simply need to know what it is that you want. The benefit that comes from the people in this group is we've taken it a few years to stumble along to find the best path to get here. We're just trying to save you some time. That's it.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Definitely.
Yeah, that's so true, Steve. And as each of us want to say said that, the investment in ourselves is so important. It is so important. Many times we look at the money, you know, many times we say, you know what, and as Soham said, we go and we purchase nice clothing, we purchase a nice handbag, a nice shoe, but that is just short-lived. It's for a short period of time. When you wear that shoes and you put it away in the closet, what next?
Yes.
Your life remains the same. You just dress in the outside. What happened to the inside? You're not taking care of the inside. The inside need that investment too. Just like how you want to dress the outside up, you got to dress the inside up too. And by dressing the inside up, it's putting the right things in, what you're feeding yourself with. Because once you feed yourself with the right stuff, you will have a beautiful outside. But many of us, as I said in the initial state, we walk around in a prison. We're in a mental prison. Every day we're walking around in a prison. You don't have to be locked up in a prison physically, but mentally we are locked in a prison. Because the thoughts that we carry around each day with us, and as someone was saying, go to bed with the thoughts and waking up back with the thoughts. When you come to that stage, you need to ask yourself, what am I really doing with my life? If you're waking up with the same thoughts and taking it back to bed at night, you need to ask yourself, what am I really doing? How can I get help? Who can I go to help me with this situation? And you have to find the right person, the professional person, to help you in a situation like that. Because if you go to a friend may only tell you, as Soham said, a friend will just use what they know as their scenario to help, to tell you, and thinking that you're getting help. But when you go to a professional coach, that person able to dive deep within you and to bring up those questions, and you answer the questions yourself. The coach don't answer the question for you. You answer for yourself. And then it's when you discover yourself. And then it's when all the treasures within you start to come out. So we have to take time, invest in ourselves. If you want to invest your time with reading or listening to some motivational speaker or listening to a book, there are ways. And the minute we start to find, oh, I can't do that, oh, that's too long for me to read, oh, that's outdated, I'm not going to listen to that. Since you start to say those things, those are the negative energies coming up to you. So whenever even self you have those energies and start to listen to something, it would not benefit you because you already put up those blocks in front of you. You've got to make that conscious choice. Today, I'm going to listen to a motivational speaker and start to turn the curve. start a new chapter with your life. That's the only way you could do it. There's nobody going to come up from the sky and help you. You know, nobody's going to come up from the sky and help you. Even self, there are readers out there, there are mediums out there, your angels speaking to you, but you're not listening.
No.
They're giving you all the signs, but you're not paying attention. Who you gonna get help? You know? So we really need to make that conscious choice.
Yeah.
Joan?
I support, and I know we all support you in saying that. It's so important. And a beautiful thing that you can do within your day is carve your day out into different blocks. Okay, when I make dinner, I'm going to use it. I'm listening to my audiobook. And you don't have to listen to everything, to use chapter 1, chapter 2. But make your day more interesting. Add it into different blocks. I'm going to listen to my motivational speaker. I'm going to be listening to this, or I'm going to be doing. So if you could carve your day into different blocks, your day will be so much interesting, and you of yourself as an individual is going to feel so empowered because you start to make that shift. The energy start to change. People will detect that instantly. And as we always speak about Tony Robbins, I mean, it's such a beautiful summit or conference they have now because we've been listening every day as well. And the speakers that they have on there, oh my God, they are really amazing. And they really show a roadmap how they got started and the continuation and decide to chip things that they used to do before away, no longer serve you, move it away. Because when we start to chip away at things that no longer serve us, we start to attract and pull new value in that give us that empowerment that we can be good for ourselves, as we're all talking about, making that change and that acceptance and moving forward with more beauty. And when you find these things start happening, like to say, because then you start, when you find passion, magical, you're totally a whole new person. And people are going to say, what have you done? Because they start to see the difference, because as pour in inside, it reflects on our outward appearance. And there is more joy, there is more love, there is more peace about us. We don't get flipped out to something happen, because we have rewired ourselves with so much of goodness and great modalities that we can empower ourselves with. So there is where the change comes in. We become a new person. There's a shift, energy becomes different. So you've been listening to everyone who is here today and put so much of value out here. Make one thing, make that change. And then from one, don't be hard. Show yourself passion. Show yourself love. If you don't accomplish it one day, tomorrow comes. Tomorrow comes.
Tom?
Okay, I better unmute myself. Or I guess I was muted. I was going and getting the contacts that I did have. I didn't have Steve's contact information from past shows, but throwing it up. Everything that's come, what it's done is this has held a mirror up to me about what's been going right and what hasn't, what could be a heck of a lot better than what it is right now. And so I think for me, my experiences is our culture and everything I saw caused me to live a half life, if that makes any sense. I slept walks almost all of my life, and I was like a mad pinball on a pinball machine, if you're old enough to remember what those are. A flipper would hit me and it would bounce off different bumpers and light different things up. And a lot of times those weren't good results for the people I was bumping into, to say the least, And that's how I lived my life. But the thing is there came a point where I made a deliberate change. And even though I may have not used alcohol and drugs in 25 years, spiritually, I really didn't even begin involving until about 2018. And then it's been a very slow process. And it's a little bit late in life. But if anything else, if you knew my story, and some of the people here watching do a little bit, it's never too late. Do not give up. If I can start to create something of value to myself and the world, do not give up.
Yes.
Keep
Yes.
giving it a shot. You're
Yeah.
much more than you know. Don't just say, well, this is my lot. I'm done. I've been there and spent most of my life not wanting to be alive, hating the fact I was alive, or trying everything I could to mitigate the experience of being alive. It doesn't have to be that way. There's so much beauty out there for you inside. And I wanted to bring something in. Somebody made a comment about a rotting apple. I was in prison for a while, and I remember a few good spiritual deep guys. I met some of the best people I ever met locked up, as hard as that is to believe, because they were in a situation that caused them to change, and they taught me so much. They were in a situation like a monk cell type of thing where they had to absolutely change. And, I learned so much in their lessons that I'm able to apply now. So 2 or 3 people coming into this great big dorm, this block of 120 guys, I've watched it turn the entire flavor and the entire energy around of everybody in there. I got to witness this first time, and that taught me so much. So I'm responsible for what I bring, not what others are doing around me. And that's such a hard lesson for me because I've been trained to be so reactive. I've done that my entire life. So thank you for having me here. I listen to you all and I'm going to have to make sure I rewatch this. Thank you.
So, could you touch a little bit on relationship with self?
Okay. Yes.
I remember last weekend you read something from an article.
Yes. And yes, I did. I remember that as well. Relationship self is so important. And I think in funny enough, that article in some way or the other, all of us have actually touched it. And I think Christine touched it, that, when we have a relationship with the self, how do we talk to other people? I want to ask everybody here, when we talk to each other with a lot of respect, with a lot of love, and we care that we don't say anything that upsets the other person. But how do I talk to myself? There has been times I will say I was talking to myself in a negative way. I will actually continuously say, you are this, you are that, you're not good enough, you're not good as that person, you have this wrong with you, you're too fat, you're too short, your stomach is too big, your thighs are like a thunder, all these things I say to myself, and I'm thinking, hang on a second, what's going on? So why are you talking to yourself? Would you talk like this to your friend or your mom or your sister? No, you wouldn't say, you wouldn't. If you love somebody, you don't say that to them. So I said, so do you not love yourself? That I would have this kind of conversation, and I say, I would not talk like this with another person. If I talk like that with my friends, they would not be my friends because they don't want to hear these kind of things, even though it might be true, but you're not going to, you don't say that, yes, you're fat. The fat person will not like that, even though they know that it's fat. It's the way you say it. So, okay, I realized that I'm not going to talk to myself like that. So the self-realization came that, so you are good as what you are. Do not compare yourself with other people. You are good. I cannot be like another person. There's only one Soham. But it took a long time for me to get that realization. It's only because I will say is because I constantly talk to myself, as Christine said, making that journal, even though and you said, Karen, as well, making that journal, writing down, even if it's a 1 or 2 words, I'm writing down. And, when we use a pen and a paper, not a laptop or an iPad, do a pen and a paper, because there's the connection of your hand, your body, you're writing it down. When you put anything into the paper, you read it out, and you are basically doing a self-coaching. Yeah. So when you're reading it, thinking, oh my God, is this what's going on? And that's how I feel. For me, the self relationship is, that having self relationship with yourself. How are you actually connecting with yourself? How are you connecting with other people? So when we actually connect with ourselves with love and affection, we connect with other people in the same way. When we don't love ourselves in the same way as we love. So how, this is where I then ask questions to people who are looking for a relationship outside. What relationship have you with? Because what we do, the way the relationship I have with myself, I will actually have that same relationship with the person who I'm seeking as a lover, as a partner, And I'm thinking, if I want, because I get people come to me, because my husband is an astrologer, they come, I want this kind of a woman, I can't want this kind of a man, and they give him a list. And I'm so tempted to say to them, okay, from the list, which qualities do you have? Can you tick that yourself as well? Because if we don't have those qualities, we can't expect from other people.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. So it's, so I continuously ask, and, I'm not saying I'm perfect, because nobody's perfect, and I'm definitely not perfect. I still have to every morning work on myself, or every day when I go to some, because I go to many events, and there are some people may trigger me. I ask myself, okay, what about that that's triggering you, Soham? Do you need to work on yourself if that's been triggered? So it's not always, it's very easy to say so and so has done this to me. No, nobody does nothing to us. It's my interpretation of what they are saying has triggered me. So what that means, I have to work on myself to get to what I need to get, because other people haven't got control. They only have control over you if you allow them to have a control over you. Yeah. We are in control of ourselves. So, we have to ask ourselves, and, these things, what I'm talking about, that can only become apparent when you read things, when you listen to these motivational things, when that 7 steps of the leader that Christine was talking about, Stephen Conway. Yeah, it's fantastic book, Highly Effective People.
Yes.
It's fantastic book, especially for professional who's working in corporate. I really encourage them to read it. But majority of these books are actually free online on YouTube. I found some books by accident. I thought, oh my God, I've actually got them on audiobook.
Yes.
I thought this is fantastic. So there's no excuse for nobody to say I can't afford it. It's there. So I think the more I've listened to things, other people, not just by influenced by other people, but also being influenced by myself, I have actually empowered myself to move forward. Self-doubts do creep in, no doubt about it, because we are human being end of the day. So, the self-doubt will kick in. You just have to say, what, you were there yesterday, just sit back down. And, I just say to that self-doubt, I don't need you anymore. I'm more powerful than you are. I asked myself down to sit down, and you know what it does? Like a pussycat, it just sits in the corner and say, okay, I understand what you're saying. So that's how I believe the relationships for me, having the self relationship is so important, and there are so much stuff online that you can actually help yourself just read. I just googled it saying, how can I have a best self relationship? And there was tons of things. Some of the things you will resonate with, some of the things you may not resonate with. That's fine as well. But just work, go and start that work. Like Karen, you started the session with having a goal, right? So, have a short-term goal, have a medium-term goal, and have a long-term goal. And that's only by, if I did that by doing my vision scrapbook, vision board. I put all my 3 goals down, and looking at them going back 17 years, I've achieved quite a lot of them, because once I've written it down, what I wanted in my life, what did that do? I've actually put out the intention, that this is what I wanted, universe. What did the universe do? Universe put things around it so I can achieve what I wanted. And I did. And I with that, I want to share one point which actually made a big difference in my life. I learned English as a second language because I came from India to England at age of 12, couldn't speak a word of English. And having a special English class, a teacher said to me, and this was where I say we make a difference. A teacher said to me, what do you want to be, Sam, when you go out of here, when you finish your school? And I've only had 4 years of schooling in England. So I said, I'll work in a retail as a cashier, because that's what my other cousins were doing. She said, no, Sam, you're not going to do that. You're going to actually go and work in an office behind the office. And that word of wisdom has made me where I am today. I wouldn't consciously say I was aware of that, but it's only later in life I recall back that sentence, what she said to me, and her believe in me at that time when I was 16, that I am capable of actually working in an administration or in an office as something. And I worked in a corporate, I've been in the higher states jobs, I've done that, got the label. So what I'm saying is what we say makes a big difference in somebody's life, actually. And that teacher, by just saying that, has changed my route, my road of my life. And I will say, I'm not sure where the teacher is, but that's made a big impact in my life, and when the coach comes in your life, and if they even share a word of wisdom with you, you may not think at that point in time, what is a difference is this coach making in my life, but you don't know where the changes are coming.
Yes, true.
So that's how I see having a relationship is constantly talking to yourself. Talk to yourself. I talk to myself. I love myself. I look in the mirror in the morning, and I say to myself, I love you. And you know where I learned that? From Louise Hayes, because I'm a big fan of Louise Hayes. And I came across Heal Your Life, 28 years back, and that's been my Bible when I was in my 20s. And she always taught me that, look in the mirror and say to yourself, I love myself. I look at myself and I say, how beautiful you are, Sohan. And then I'll go into the park and I'll put my hand out and I say, all of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. I'm open and receptive to all good. And you see the ripple effect of how you are, how energy around you actually puts things in place to get what you want in life.
So true.
So that's thank you.
True. Steve.
Oh my God.
No, you muted.
Oh, I unmuted one, but I found the mute of the other. So the reason I mentioned the mute button is because I was going to talk about our inner child. The idea that comes forward is, we're listening to ourselves. We're becoming aware of what's going on. And it's funny, we think we can control ourselves, but when that inner child comes out and starts throwing the temper tantrum, there's just not a lot of response that you can do. And it usually comes out when another person's inner child comes to play, right? Your inner child wants to play when the other one's there. There's a lot of wisdom that's coming up in the comments. I mean, Pamela, Sue, Tweety, Penny, there's just a lot of people here that not only are offering some wisdom, but are connected with some insights that could help people. And if I were to give anybody just one insight that you can share, right? It's to be there for somebody else. Like if somebody's going through a tough time, you don't need, the first part of the healing journey is to talk about it. We're trying to process it. We're sharing it because we're trying to make sense out of it. just be there and listen. Don't try to fix, don't try to change anything. Just hold that space. No judgment, nothing more. If you do that, they can then start moving through and processing. You can just ask them questions. If you want to ask them questions, how did that feel? Or what did it mean to you? I mean, how can I help you in this? If you ask those type of questions, they will tell you what they need. And it could be something really simple. They're just, most of the time when somebody's in a dark space, they're just looking for validation. They don't feel important. They don't feel like they're of value. And if you can encourage them and just make that connection, it will bring them. It'll help them start on that elevation. It'll make them feel better. So make the space. You don't have to do anything. And if you need that, reach out to somebody, because that is available. There are people that are non-judgmental, that are there to help you process. And then once you get through the stuff that's holding you back, boy, start working on those goals. If you've got a goal that you want to achieve, go for it. Because I tell you what, this life is precious, and we can do amazing things. We do them with teams, but when you start reaching for those goals, you'll start attracting that like-minded tribe to you. When you find your tribe, you'll find amazing. That's what this group right here is, right? We all met through getting out and talking about the things that we're passionate about. We're passionate about helping people, right? What are you passionate about? Find your passion. Type your passion in the chat. Connect with other people that have that same passion. And I'm telling you, you will find that energy. You'll find that you'll be able to do things that you never thought of, because you forget about the doubt. You forget about anything more than, oh, I feel good about what I'm doing. I'm feeling inspired, and I can make a difference, right? I can make a difference because this is important to me. So that's something I really think that we can do. Listen to others, help them heal. Once you get past that, find what it is that you want to do and just do it.
Christine?
As my three panelists know, I'm living in Reno land at the moment, so there's going to be some banging in the background. So I will make this very brief. Your drive attracts your tribe. That's really one of the things that you're going to find in life, is what drives you on a passion level is going to start attracting people who have very similar passions. And when they're true friends, when they're truly not in competition, but in agreement, and allowing them to be part of your life, you be part of their life, all the boats rise. That's going to be part of this. One of the things that I think is very important, living, like I said, in Reno land right now, is nothing is permanent. Everything is temporary in this life. One of the things that I learned is I had terrible and negative self-talk because I was trying to live up to the low expectations of the people who were in either family of origin or the friends that I had agreed to. And it was an agreement for me. It was truly an agreement. But when I started to really look at who I wanted to attract to myself, what I wanted to achieve in life, how I wanted to leave a legacy, as we say, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, once I got past that first level of just survival, and I started to move up to self-actualization, I started to see myself in a completely different light. One of the things that I got recently was somebody said, high five yourself in the mirror. That's Mel Robbins. She says, every morning when you get up and you brush your teeth, you go and you high five your reflection in the mirror and say, you are going to have a super fantastic day, or whatever the hell motivates you that day, or you're really great, or damn, I think you're beautiful today. Go out and knock it out of the park and just high five yourself. That's all you need to do, because you can be your biggest cheerleader. Space holding is really important. You will find some beautiful people who are more than happy to cheer you on and hold space for you as you're going through this process in life. But at the end of the day, at the end of your life, when you're going to the next iteration of spirit and space, you're going to have to look back on yourself and say, did I achieve what I wanted to? And that is every day of your life. If you start acting like that every day of your life, and I want to achieve and become part of the greater good of humanity by being the best version of myself, that's when things start to change. You don't have to be everybody's anything. You don't have to be anybody's anything. You have to be the best version of yourself, because at the end of your life, you will be the one judging yourself. It's not going to be the purposeful spirit that's going to say, oh, you were bad. No, you put yourself through that every single day. So when you get yourself up in the morning, but you go to bed at night and say, I lived the highest and best good I could do today, then all of a sudden things start to change for yourself too. You start to feel like you have made a difference. And live gently on this earth. That's really important too. Don't take too much. Don't use too much resources. Treat the earth like you treat your body, with the highest and best regards and respect. That's really become part of my mantra too. And the banging's making me a little nuts, so.
Tom?
The banging's not that bad. I've been a friend for, God, what is it, 6 or 7 months with Christine. It's been a beautiful journey to walk along with her. I just wanted to leave with one thing, and that is that try to change one habit today and negative into a positive. Just one. I hate cleaning the cat box. We've got 2 enormous fat cats, and I don't even want to describe and we've got a massive litter box. And I used to forget conveniently when it was my turn. So now what I do is the first thing I do when I get up in the morning now, is I go clean that cat box. And it is so much easier. And this goes back to what we were talking about, living in the now, rather than putting it off. Deal with the feelings and deal with it now. And it's so much better to clean it than when it's gone 3 or 4 days. Or just simple things. I went through a major house cleaning that was desperately needed. And now I just take a little time every day to go around and see what needs to be taken care of. And my God, I'm through it in 10 or 15 minutes. And I think that's a metaphor. It's like Christine and I say, life is a movable feast of metaphors and mirrors. So these small things that we do in the physical world, or we do with our interactions with people, to me, represent a much greater spiritual whole. But we're in control of how we act and how we react. And it's awful hard to forget, easy to forget that when you've been programmed your entire life, that we are a victim of everything that we walk into or create for ourselves. Oh, I'm a victim. Well, you think maybe you created this? Oh, not me. It's not my fault. Yeah, right. Thank you.
John?
Thank you, Tom, and thank you, Christine, Soham, and Steve. My parting words will be, when we make that change and we have the conscious decision to make the change and set the intention, 2 words I'm going to change and maintain. Because when we change and we maintain, then we are moving into a new trajectory to move forward, to live the best version of ourselves and for our loved ones and friends. I'm just going to give a shameless plug here. I had the idea with creating a magazine. Both of us decided to say, yes, we're going to give it a go, because this is what we want to give back to people who support us, our clients, our friends who visit the show and every single thing. And that magazine now is moving into print, and we will have it in your mailbox. Just send us pre-order, send us your address, and we will send you that magazine. It's beautiful. Wonderful articles are here, contributions with Steve and also with Christine. And beautiful articles that will help you also to continue this journey, living your best self. Karen?
Yes. The beauty is when we are open to the divine, there is so much downloads that come to us. But before we could have those downloads, we got to clear the mental. And once we clear the mental clutter, we open ourselves to such a beautiful space that beautiful things could dwell, and we could able to do beautiful things for humanity. But if we continue to dwell on the mental clutter, we're not able to move forward with our lives, and we're not able to be of service to someone else. So let today be the day that we start to work on ourselves. Let today be the day we do self-reflection. When you're doing the self-reflection, grab your journal or a piece of paper and just write it down. Write the way how you're feeling at the moment. Just bring it all out. Write it. Write it down. And if you don't feel at that moment to look back at it, just leave it there. And a day or two, go back to it. Look at it. And when you look at it, see how you feel when you're looking at it. Because many times there is where we get the clarity. And one thing I want to leave with you before we close the panel. Our children are our future. And once you have your kids, start with them now. Get them in the habit of reading. Get them in the habit of listening to things for their higher good. Let's start with them. Because we had to wait until we are a big age to start to correct ourselves. But we have the opportunity now to invest in our children. So when they get to our age, they will be so knowledgeable of life and what life could face and what life could be for them. So we need to start to invest in our children also, to help them to live a better future and to understand life on a deeper level. Because our kids today think the answers are on the outside. They use technology for the wrong purposes. So we need to get in the habit of teaching our children the right things and saying the right things to them also. Because whatever fuel you give to them, that is how they will grow up. And those are the thoughts they will have growing up with. So we need to tell them we love them. You're going to be a good child when you grow up. Keep fueling those thoughts into them, those words into them, so that when they grow up, they could be a good wife to their husband or be a good man to their wife.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start to give and nurture our children from now. I just want to thank you to all the viewers today for taking the time to join us today and helping this show to be a success. Thank you for all your wonderful comments. Thank you so much for having the input into the conversation. And to this wonderful panel. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Soham. Thank you, Christine. Thank you, Joan. Thank you, Tom, for bringing the tools that we can help to put in the toolkit of so many lives. And
thank you.
You're welcome. And today, moving forward, let's make that choice. We know it's hard. We've been there, so we know. It's nothing new that you're going to tell us that we don't really know. We've been there. You know how tough it could be. But we have to make that choice.
Yes.
To get out from that loop. Because if you're in a loop and you keep going around all the time, there's going to come a point you got to say, what am I doing with my life? How can I get out from this situation? You got to make the choice. It's tough, but you have to make that choice. So let's do the self-reflection today. And I'm going to leave the question again. What are 2 goals you want to achieve in the next 6 to 12 months? Journal it. Thank you guys so much for taking the time and this powerful discussion. And have a wonderful weekend and a wonderful day. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Karen.